Okay, folks. Step one, why are we doing what we're doing? Oh, survival. You can survive in the woods. Wonderful. What do you need to know? Okay. This conversation matters. Today matters because these are the rules. Devin, are you with me? Thank you. These are the rules that are going to show up on the ACT. And what are those? They want you to be able to punctuate sentences properly. So that's what we're going to talk about. Sentences, how to do sentences. And as a quick review, I thought we could talk a little bit about nouns, because nouns are going to be the subjects of sentences. And if you can find the subject and the verb of a sentence, then you can figure out how to properly punctuate it. So, quick review. Remember that the subject of a sentence can be nouns, which are person, place, thing, idea. Remember how they can either be singular or plural. They can either be concrete, things that we can touch, but they can also be abstract. And those ones are a little bit trickier to find for the subject of a clause. And they can also be common or general or proper. And what do we do to proper nouns? We capitalize them. Huzzah! All right, next page, quick review. Talk to me about the nominative case of pronouns. What can the first person singular pronoun of the nominative case? I, good. What else? You, he, she, it, and they, and good. You all, and they. So those are some words that we want to keep an eye out for. And I also wanted to do just a little overview about adjectives and what they do. So on the next page, after pronouns, I have this fantastic butterfly because I was trying to stick with the nature theme, very transcendental of me, but I couldn't figure out how to put all of the information in the boxes into the butterfly wings. So all you have to do to take notes on the butterfly part is to say which the 4 questions that adjectives answer. I have a very nerdy song to sing you that I came up with. I felt like a rapper one day, and so this is my sick beat. Are you ready? It goes like this. What kind? How many? Which ones? And whose? Do you like it? So good. Okay, repeat after me. What kind? How many? Which ones? And whose? No, you didn't. No, unacceptable. Try this again. Let's go. What kind? A little more energy, please. What kind?
What kind?
How many?
How many?
Which ones?
Which ones?
And whose?
And who?
You didn't say whose. Oh, is that it? Okay. Fine. Okay. All right. Let's talk about verbs then. So in our verbs notes, we talked about how the definition of a verb can either be an action or it can be from the verb to be, which expresses a state of being. So the word to be conjugated out, do you remember what it can be? We don't say I be. I am. So how does my little song go? Am. Yes. Am, are, is, was, were, will. Those are verbs, and we have to watch out for them because they're sneaky. We ignore them. They're adorable and cute, but they're very important, so remember those. And adverbs, okay, adjectives only describe nouns and pronouns. That's it. They match. Adverbs describe everything else. And I have a new song for you this time. It goes like this. How, when, in what way? When and how often? Where? To what extent? So, I know, I'm good. So this is how, so embarrassing, but this is how I think. Like if I have to answer grammar questions, I sing these little songs and then I know what's happening. So I'm going to leave these up so that we can refer back to it, but mostly it's just for reference. So on the bottom of page 6, I thought we could describe the dragon. I picked a dragon. It felt nature-y as well. I was trying to stick with my theme. Please add these questions to your notes. Oh man, I put them in a different order though. So number when, if I use adverbs like always, never, early, late, which of these 4 categories actually fits? When. So for number 1, put when and then how often. Do you guys say often with the T or often? Often. With or without? With? Often. It feels smarty pants. So put when and how often to fit with the ones that actually describe when and how often. Like already, did you know that that's an adverb? It's a good one. And then number 2 is going to be how and in what way. How did the dragon fly? Quickly, or lazily, or backwards, or loudly, or slowly, or angrily. What do you notice about that list of words? The ly. That's a good tip for us to help us find adverbs. Number 3, where. But there's this weird little thing about it, which is that it's only going to be one word, probably. I want you to look up. I want you to look where? Up. So it's just one word. But if I say that the little lizard is crawling up the wall would be a prepositional phrase. And then to what extent? To do things fully, completely, entirely, totally. Very fits in here. And little, to do just a little, that would be an adverb. Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to skip the prepositions notes. I don't want to do that today. So go to the bottom of page 7, please. And let's talk about conjunctions because we need them. There are 3 kinds of conjunctions. Number 1, these ones, fanboys, are called coordinating junctions. Coordinating. Please write that on the blank. Everybody say for and, nor, but, or, yet, so. What? That's what I thought. Okay, let's do it again. Everybody say for and, nor, but, or, yet, so. We're doing great. Let's do it again. For and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Really good, choir. Really good. Okay. These are called coordinating conjunctions because they join something with something else. And at the bottom, con means with, and junct means join. And so that's my conjunction, is to join with. And so these are coordinating conjunctions. But on the next page, go to the next one. Last page. Number 2, these are called correlative or correlative. I don't know. Tomato, tomato. You can say it how you want. They can join word pairs and differentiate a little bit. And then number 3, we're going to talk about things that are called subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating. Please put that on the other line. And then, have we heard of the awubis before? You surely were tested on it in 9th grade English and in 10th grade English. Do we recall this? Have we seen this before? Got another song for you. You're welcome. And it goes like this. It's my warm-up. After, although, as, when, while, until, because, before, if, since. After, although, as, when, while, until, because, before, if, since. Oh, this rolls off the tongue. That
was the best.
Thank you. Okay. So, does that song also go through my head when I am finding awubis words? Yes, it does. It's the only way I can remember these things, so I share it with you. All right, this list right here, fill it in, because these are words that we are going to look for. We are going to look for subjects. We are going to look for verbs. We can get rid of prepositional phrases. They are extra. They just add detail to a sentence. So I'll probably cross off a bunch of those as we go. It's nice to know what an adverb does so that we don't get it confused with a subject or a verb. And then this is a cute little chart that I made for you so that you can remember how to punctuate most clauses. All right, what is a clause? A clause has to have a subject and a verb. And if there's an awubis word in front of it, then it's going to be a dependent clause. And it's dependent on the independent clause to make it a complete sentence. So if we break this down, an awubis word plus a subject and a verb, this is, oh, it's a smiley face, a dependent clause. And an independent clause just doesn't have the awubis word. Dependent, awubis. So if we start a sentence with a dependent clause, we have to have a comma, and then it's relying on the independent clause to make it a complete thought. So if I have this after, now I'm going to make up a subject and a verb. So give me an action. What's a good action? Spicy. After Ms. Berven fought Carter, comma, she was in the hospital. But this is an example of a dependent clause starting the sentence. You got to have a comma. And you can hear it as well. After they fought, comma, then you can finish the sentence with an independent clause. Now, if we switch it, Ms. Berven was in the hospital after she fought Carter. Does that sound like it needs a comma? It doesn't. So sometimes this one is like an 80% rule, I think, maybe. That 80% of the time you won't need a comma. And there's an exception, which is the word although. Maybe there's more, but I've noticed with although, you always need a comma to set off the word although. I don't know why, but it just needs it every time. Okay. That is how we punctuate sentences when we have one of each kind of clause. But what happens if we don't need a dependent clause at all and we only have two independent clauses? So if we don't have an awubis and we're just talking about independent clauses, we can use a comma and a fan voice. Or we can use a semicolon. So let's do some practices. That was a lot, I know.